Alright, so today, ladies and gentlemen, we're in a BMW 435i. This is a 2014. It's a hardtop convertible, and it's extremely deceiving. When you first see the car, you pretty much, to the untrained eye, it seems like a hardtop, but when it transforms, basically like a transformer, like my cousin says, it just does its thing. It's very smooth, it doesn't take too long, and also it has this really awesome compartment option where you hit the button and it raises the rear windshield for you so you can still get to your stuff. So that's a really great thing. This car belongs to my Uncle Eric. He also has the S2000 I drove not too long ago, and it was a great time. And my Uncle Eric is one of the few car people in my family, and we can definitely relate to each other. But what's really great is he used to have a BMW 328i. Before that, he had a Hyundai Genesis sedan, and he loved that car as well. And when I drove the Genesis sedan, I was like, oh wow, the Hyundai's stepping up their game. But then I drove the 328i, and I liked it, but it didn't like blow me away. It was just a car that had a really nice interior to me, had really heavy steering, stuff like that. But then my uncle was like, listen, I don't want another 28i, I want something like a 35i twin turbo inline six, 300 horsepower, 300 foot-pounds of torque, make it easy. And the dealership was like, no, let's just try to get you back into 28. But he went hunting and he eventually found this hardtop convertible. And the interesting thing about the 435 is the 4 Series is not that old of a car. It's still kind of getting its ground. And it shows where BMW has kind of gone. It's not as bad as, say, like the M5 or like the M6 or the 6 Series about being big and bloated. It feels pretty dwarfed in comparison. This still feels nimble, the interior is really nice, and you get a really good package. So the interior of the car, the steering wheel is this really nice kind of squishy leather material. The leather, believe it or not, does not make you sweat, which is really hard to describe. It's just weird, like more expensive leather, obviously. But when you get in it, you get nervous because you think your back's gonna get all gross and everything, and nothing happens. But you have navigation. You have this mode in the car where if you don't turn it off, when you stop, it'll go into something called readiness, or like ready mode. So it's almost like a hybrid. It's this like gas saving tech, but if you're in traffic, it's a pain in the butt. You don't want to deal with it. So there's eco mode and sport mode, but sport mode is the one you're going to want to be in. Because sport mode, you can go into the paddles. If you don't go in sport mode and you try to use the paddles, the auto would take over for you. And it's kind of jarring if you didn't know what you were doing. So if you're just kind of easing along, there's virtually no turbo lag. They've pretty much eliminated all that turbo lag. It's pretty ridiculous. I think it's the way they've shaped the turbos out, where they positioned them. BMW is known for their inline sixes. It's like their jam. I mean, if you look at concept cars like the FT1 with Toyota, that is in conjunction with BMW because Toyota knows that BMW knows how to build inline sixes. I mean, there was the N54 with the 335i back in the E92, and then ever since then, I've really respected the 335s and 435s and that sort of thing. Because to be honest, guys, when I was younger, I didn't really care about any BMWs other than M, mostly because I didn't know. It wasn't that I like thought they were bad cars. I just thought M was the only car you could associate performance with. But this car it's fully loaded. It has M brakes, whole 9 yards. Its stopping power is great, and it's buttery smooth through the power band. It's more than enough you'll ever need on the street. But the paddles feel good. The steering wheel is pretty much the same one that's in the M4. The interior is pretty much like the M4. And if you're just looking for something a little bit cheaper, and it's still a very quick car. Going back to the weight, I mean, it's crazy where BMW's gone. If you look, like the E30 and then the E39, E36, E46, it was a completely different company, and now it kind of appeals to the mass market of just trying to get everything right, which it does, but it's just a different way of driving. Let's go. There we go. Look, I could like read a book while driving this. It's nothing. And you can see that Germans engineer their cars to go fast. I mean, they have the one big road in the world where you can drive as fast as you want, and it makes sense. And the great thing about the twin turbo inline six is that it just keeps pulling. It's the same way in the M4. That motor does the exact same thing. It never lets up. It's not like power falls on its face. It just keeps on going, because they're not like they're big turbos, you know, they're pretty tiny turbos in these cars, and you think that eventually they'd get its peak torque and peak power and it would just stop and die. But you look at the heads-up display and you're just going. You just keep going. You're like, oh, okay, I should probably slow down. Well, the red line in this car is 7,000 RPM, but if you don't shift just in time, the automatic transmission will do it for you. And that's more of my fault, but it's something to be aware of. I mean, it's just kind of like in almost any automatic gearbox nowadays, if you miss your shift just that right, it does it for you. That's why a lot of people nowadays want more analog things, because you don't feel as involved. I was talking with my uncle earlier, we're talking about how the Germans are so good at what they do. Their engineering is so well thought, so well refined. You watch their factory videos and they're just in the zone, not talking to other people. They build the engine, they get their job done. But the thing is that it's interesting where if you ride in like a higher horsepower car that's German, it's a completely different experience from something that's American or Japanese. And I think sometimes it takes away from the experience because it's so good. And I know that's really, really hard to describe. And I mean, look, watch this. Like, I'm just gonna get on a little bit, get straight out, straighten out, go. And I could literally have a conversation with you as I'm doing this. And do that in something else with, say, 400 horsepower. You'd have to be pretty in the zone. You'd be analog in the zone and try not to spin, not do this thing. But it's so planted, it's so refined that, I don't know, it just kind of takes away from it. And a lot of the times with German cars, I've noticed that with, like, I did an S4 last year. Awesome car, like, interior's beautiful. The stick shift, the gearbox was great. But I got it done and over with, and I was like, well, now what? You know, I don't really know what else to say. And it's not me insulting the car, it's just an observation. Because whenever I get in a German car, it's one of those things where it'd be so great to drive this every day. I totally get it. But if you're looking for, like, just to go crazy, it's kind of hard because there's not a lot of meat left on the bone. You know, in Germans, they don't want you messing with their cars. They do not like it. The ECU in the M4, I learned the other day, is one of the trickiest things to ever crack. And I'm just not about that life. I don't want to spend that kind of money. Of course there's going to be exceptions. Of course there's going to be people in the comments going, oh, well, my so-and-so did this. And I'm sure you did. But coming from a more simpler time, and you look at the E30 and everything else, it's just a completely different world. I mean, we're into different generations. You got autonomous vehicles, you got all these things now coming along, and with the stick being phased out, it's just something you got to think about when you go look for a car now. You have to really think, do I want something that's going to get me to A to B and also be kind of fun and you have the horsepower to do it, or do I want something that has a lot more personality? So, on that note, I think I'll end that video here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I want to thank my uncle so much for letting me drive his 435i. I had a great time driving it. And I'll see you guys next time, and take it easy. Have a fantastic day.